Hey guys, welcome to the Rat Grind channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. You had a wonderful Saturday. I had a great time. I had spent a lot of time with my family today, so it was a really good day. So I want to change the format of this video a little bit. I'm going to start to put an agenda in front of each of the videos so you know exactly what to expect. So if it's something that you think you're going to find value in, then you can stick around. If not, then maybe comment below. Let me know what it is that you would like me to cover. All right. So the first thing that I want to be able to start with is some of the crypto markets that we're watching, and as well as some ideas, some articles that I found that are general in the blockchain and crypto space. So the first one is we're going to look at the markets and how they're holding in the green right now, barely holding. And Bitcoin and Ethereum, we're going to check out those charts that we've been watching for weeks now, how they are both trying to stay above water. I also want to share with you two particular articles, one being 5 factors that affect Bitcoin's rise and fall, and secondly, why Bitcoin is getting more and more valuable every single day. Also, we're going to talk about some bears and bulls news, first being the former Visa CEO joins a crypto startup, right? And China finds 421 fake crypto. So that's a mistake, typo, guys. That's supposed to be 421, not 425. The next news that we're gonna talk about is Genesis Mining, the largest cloud mining company out there, is going after Warren Buffett in his own hometown of Omaha, Nebraska, right? So that's big news. That's pretty gutsy, right? So I also want to talk about Binance, how they've changed their confirmations for ERC20 tokens, or the Ethereum-based tokens, down to 10. It used to be 30. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And the last news is why consensus failed this year to spark a bull rally, right? There's an interview that I'm going to share with you guys about why this particular top expert and finance expert is saying, consensus failed. Although it was a great event, it didn't meet expectations like we all thought it would. So we'll get right on it, guys. All right, so stick around. We'll get right into it. All right, guys, so welcome back. So first thing we're going to look at is the crypto market overall. As you can see, oh, wow, just in the last minute or so, Bitcoin went down. It's down 0.24%, so less than a quarter of a percent down 24 hours since yesterday. As you know, yesterday it was all green, but a lot of the cryptos have been holding green steady all throughout the day, except for a few exceptions, right? So as you can see, Bitcoin, Ethereum is holding pretty much really relatively well, right? Let's look at coin market cap actually. So the current market cap of the entire crypto space is 378, almost 379 billion dollars, right? So it's still way down from our expected expectations. And the 24-hour volume this day is 15,000, which is relatively better than it was yesterday, considering it is a Saturday. So we have to see what happens tomorrow. Usually Sundays is when it kind of goes down, but Bitcoin dominance is going up. I guess a lot of people are seeing some bullish sentiment on Bitcoin because it's been holding steady. Like we thought, guys. I mean, we were looking at if it breaks 8,000, then it can go down to 7,800, or even all the way down to 7,000, which it hasn't done so. And it doesn't look like it's going to do so because the overall Bitcoin volume this day is actually up compared to yesterday. As you can see, the 7-day chart, let's refresh this just so to make sure that we have the most up-to-date data right now. Yeah, so as of here, Bitcoin is up 0.53%. I think there's some glitch on the live coin watch because it's not taking into consideration some of the other markets, but so far it's up a little bit over 0.5%, and everything is pretty much green except for a few. Like I said, Binance coin went down because it pumped hard when they announced the referral bonuses, the referral double commission, basically that pumped yesterday, but came back down to earth. There's some cryptos that are still on the red right now, but overall, some of them are doing relatively well. So let's go right into our chart, guys. So let's look at Bitcoin, right? This is the chart that we've been watching for over the last couple weeks. So let's check it out. We're looking at the 4-hour chart as of right now. Let's zoom in here. Let me turn off all the other indicators. So as you can see, we're holding right about that 8,200 level, guys. So that's relatively good, considering that we've had a pretty much a bullish sentiment since towards the first week of this month. Let's zoom in here a little bit. So as you can see, it's forming on the 4-hour chart higher highs and higher lows. So that's a really, really good sign. And we needed to get back up to in this good support level. But right now, at least it's not quite hitting the 8,000 level. So if it keeps that momentum up, then that might be a good sign coming into Monday or even tomorrow night when the Asian markets open, because it'll be a Monday already over there, and then they can buy up some of this and let the bulls come in, because the bears are sort of holding everything down as of the moment. So we want to be able to see that rally up and see if we can be able to see more bullish sentiment coming into the market. So let's check out Ethereum, guys. As you know, we always check out Ethereum because that's where I have a lot of my trading pairs, actually. So Ethereum is pretty much similar. It's holding above the $700 line. As you can see, it tried to dip it down today, but it recovered back relatively well. So it's bouncing again on this 695 705 line. So that 20 points there, $20 difference there. It's bouncing up and down there, and looking at it, it's forming on the 4-hour chart a good higher highs and lower highs, right? So let's look at this on a closer scale, see how that's looking. Okay, so yeah, definitely is a bullish trend right here. As you can see, let's form a line here. Yeah, so it's getting some good support on this particular trend line, and it looks like it formed a whole new channel here. We need more confirmation, but it's consolidating a little bit down here. Usually when this happens, it might drop down, guys. So we'll see how that works. But there's a flag pattern that's here. The flagpole is here, and then that's the ascending flag there. We want to see if this can punch up here. If it can, then that will be a confirmation that it's definitely forming higher highs. It's trading above the 15-day EMA on the 1-hour chart. Let's look at the day chart here, where it is currently. So, okay, on the daily chart, is actually being rejected by the 15-day exponential moving average line. As you can see, this blue line that I have here, it's sort of rejecting it there. It tried to peak there, but it's all 3 green candles the last 3 days. So that's actually a really good sign. It's sort of the bulls and bears are fighting right now. As you can see, that's why the the wicks are not that long. Hopefully we can be able to see this above this trend line right here, so it can get some momentum back up in the fold. All right, so let's move on, guys. Let's talk about this first article here. I was reading this today. It's by Kayla Matthews on Hacker Noon. She wrote an article about the 5 factors that affect Bitcoins up and down. So let's get right to it, guys. So she's saying here that the price of Bitcoin has been wildly volatile, right? From November to December of 2017, it pumped 223%. That's huge, guys. And then in January, we saw the 59% drop off, from January to February, right? And then we were teased, right? From February to March, it increased back by 64%, right? That was when it was playing above the it got rejected by the 12,000 line, right? And we were thinking like, wow, we're back in business, we're back in the bull, but it got rejected in 12,000 and it dropped all the way down to 6,000, where it lost 64%, right? So that's insane. I mean 59%, and then increased 64%, and then in March it dropped again to 40%, and then as we can see right now, the last couple weeks of April it pumped up. We were looking at a bull run, and then it got rejected at the, about 10,000 level, and then it dropped back down. So that's very volatile, guys. And the first reason she's saying is because of supply and demand. That's one of the obvious things because, you know, just like gold, the supply of Bitcoin um, is relatively low. I mean, considering there's like I think 17 million that are already in circulation, but a lot of that is being held by a lot of people. So the liquidity in the market is not really there because a lot of the people that are holding Bitcoin are holding it for the long term. So there's not a lot of price action that's going in for the rest of the available coins that are there, right? So the demand side of the equation works the same for Bitcoin as it does for gold. She says the more people that want Bitcoin, the more prices of the coin increase. But because there's a lot of negative sentiment in the market since late December up until today, especially with the fall, that people that lost a lot of money. So that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of negative sentiment on Bitcoin. Other thing is media and the peers. Research has shown that media coverage has one of the biggest influences in the ups and downs. And we feel guys and girls that have been in the crypto space a lot longer, they've seen this. But for us that are newer, that have been here less than a year, um, all too often we see all these negative FUDs and also the good news that come out, and we sort of get an emotional response to that. We buy into a coin because of some rumor that's going in, but a lot of the institutional investors, like I said in the past couple videos, they're not that doesn't work for them. So we need to be able to train our brains, train our hearts to be able to make more logical decisions when it comes to investing and trading into cryptocurrencies. There's also political changes that are affecting the market. There's a lot of uncertainty, right? There's a lot of regulatory uncertainty, different countries treating Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these other cryptocurrencies differently, right? Bitcoin, of course, is the biggest because it's the granddaddy of all Bitcoins. I mean, all granddaddy of all cryptocurrencies. So it's understandable that there's a lot of political hype or political pressure both sides of the panel that affect its price. There's the last thing right here. It says in 2015 the economic crisis in Greek led to a surge in interest in Bitcoin from Greek traders because Greece basically, because of their austerity law, they're preventing people from spending. They're locking their money. Imagine all your salary that goes into your direct deposit. Imagine that. If you can't access it and the banks and the governments are telling you, no, 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 you can't access your money because you can't spend it. So a lot of people bought into Bitcoin, which I think helped aid the end of the long winter of the cryptocurrency space, Bitcoin, since the Mt. Gox hack, right, where it went into like a 2 year bear, winter, right? So that's probably why it started having more bullish sentiment after that. And then also when, a lot of people bought into it when Brexit happened, when it was announced that Britain was going to exit the European Union. And also when the current president of the US, Donald Trump, was elected president. So a lot of people, because of uncertainty in the markets, they bought into cryptos and bought into Bitcoin, right? The fourth one is changes in government regulation, guys. Because Bitcoin is such new. She says here, because Bitcoin is such a novel concept, governments have struggled to determine whether to regulate it, right? Because they don't want to stifle it, but then again, they're afraid of what can happen. So, when China, one of the world's biggest crypto market, they had a big crackdown, like bans and all this stuff on crypto. The markets tanked, right? And then there was some FUD on the regulatory here in the United States, so it caused another tank. China banned sometime in September, so that also caused a crash. So there's a lot of changes in government, like I said, that are happening that are causing the price to drop. And the fifth and last reason was there's a lot of changes to the rules of Bitcoin. Because there's no single entity that controls Bitcoin. It's not like a company that, like a Mark Zuckerberg or a Steve Jobs, can make a decision, or a Warren Buffett, that for his Berkshire Hathaway, they can dictate who and how um, the the company is governed. But Bitcoin is, because it's decentralized, there's a lot of factors that go into play for its direction. And there's a core developer. That's why essentially Ethereum forked. I mean, they didn't fork, but they created their own cryptocurrencies because Vitalik Buterin wanted to implement smart contracts within Bitcoin. He wanted to be able to use it to develop dApps and stuff like that. But they didn't want to. I mean, Bitcoin has a core script, right? It's called script. So you can do smart contracts there, but they don't want you to lag it with a lot of different unnecessary, you know, unnecessary data that's plopped into the Bitcoin blockchain, right? They don't want to fatten it up with unnecessary data or unnecessary usage, right? That's why Vitalik Buterin broke up and started his own thing, Ethereum, and also why Roger Ver forked Bitcoin Cash, which he calls the real Bitcoin, right? So there's a lot of changes that happens in Bitcoin. So there's a lot of uncertainty that happens that causes it to go down or go up. If it's a positive sentiment, like there was a lot of Lightning Network news that it was going to make the network a lot more scalable, so that aided in its increase. But of course, there's a lot of negativity because it's just unscalable. Imagine if you really buy something, although you can buy and trade because of the changes in the price. It's really hard for a merchant to take this in. But not only the price, guys. One of the things that you have to understand is that's why there's still a lot of improvement that needs to be made in this space. Is when you're transacting, if you have to wait like a couple minutes for your transaction, what are you gonna do? You're in the market, you're paying for your groceries. With Bitcoin, the miners need to mine the stuff, right? There's a 10-minute delay for each to mine. And what if your particular transaction doesn't even get approved within the mempool? It got, like I told you guys before, when miners transact, when they pick up a lot of these transactions from the mempool, they then try to guess the hash, and whatever they grab, that's what's going to get written in the blockchain if they're the ones that win that mathematical um, game, right? And if they don't, if they're one of the miners that don't, then your transaction gets pulled back and dropped back into the mempool, which again takes another 10 minutes. So as you can see, there's a lot of scalability and also efficiency that needs to be developed for this to work. And there's a lot of core developers that are working in and out, day in and day out, to try to improve this with their programming commits, right? So that's one of the biggest things. Another thing that I want to share with you guys, um, oops, all right, here you go. So there was this article today by Nathan Bentley on cryptodaily.co.uk. He says, here's why Bitcoin is becoming more valuable, right? He says that Bitcoin has remained at the center focus of the cryptocurrency industry. The first reason is that Bitcoin has been predicted to go far is due simply because of the Bitcoin blockchain, right? Because of the size of the network effect that it has. It has millions of miners out there. So the security of the network is really high, actually. So that was one of the main reasons why it's definitely growing in value, and it's part of the fintech revolution. Imagine people that don't have access to banks. Where I come from in the Philippines, there's a lot of people that don't even have their IDs. My grandparents, for example, because of the world wars, their birth records got burnt to ash, right? So there's a lot of these things that prevent people from starting their own bank accounts. It's not like here in the US where it's so easy. Anybody can walk into a bank and open one, right? For like, I don't know, $10, you could open a bank account. In Asia and in other countries, you can't do that, especially in like Africa and stuff, where they trade cattle and all this stuff. So there's definitely a lot of value because of this fact. Um, and finally, Bitcoin will continue to be adopted into the mainstream finance world. You know, like we were talking about a couple of videos ago, Nasdaq recently partnered with Gemini, the Winklevoss brothers exchange, where they want to be able to use the technology behind Nasdaq to keep the fidelity of the Gemini trades happening. Preventing market manipulators from gaming the system, right? So those are one of the key reasons why the Bitcoin value becomes more and more valuable. It's because of all those factors. Let me just read the last paragraph here. He says, despite seeing some price falls at the beginning of the year, 2018 has been a great for Bitcoin inclusion, right? Never before have we seen the news that are coming out today where institutional investors, NASDAQ, say they're open to being a crypto exchange. That's big, guys. And both Coinbase is trying to get a banking license. And Goldman Sachs recently unveiled products. They released their own crypto coin. So it's been a big target of institutional investors along with like over the counter trading that is happening currently. So that's really really big news, guys. So let's get right onto the news. I'm going to try to skip to this as fast as I can because I don't want to keep you guys too long. Just give me 1 second here. Just want to make sure, check the time. Okay, so we're at 21 minutes. So we're still in good time, guys. The first news that I want to be able to share with you guys was former Visa CEO. This is another great news today. I'm surprised that Bitcoin hasn't, or the cryptocurrency market hasn't gone up more. But former Visa CEO joins cryptocurrency startup making payment cards. That's huge, guys. So the Mark O'Brien, CEO of Visa UK and Ireland from 2008 to 2014, was currently announced as CEO of Crypterium on Thursday. That's huge, guys. Crypterium is calling itself a crypto bank that lets you pay via tokens via NFC. NFC is on your cell phone. You basically have these NFC chips that, when you get close to like an NFC data reader, it'll be able to transact with your phone without you even touching your phone, right? It can be able to do that, and as well as QR codes for online stores. It says here, O'Brien said the card will be attached to a wallet that we've created, and every time the consumer makes a transaction, we will receive a request for that transaction in our system. We will check the Bitcoin or Ether account and provide that they've got sufficient balance, and we will execute a trade and mark their Bitcoin balance for a trade and approve the transaction. This is what we were talking about earlier, that it needs to solve because we can't wait for those transactions, for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. We won't be able to walk out of the store. So we need a Crypterium to be able to validate those coins and make sure that they can do it relatively quick. And from there, it releases your transaction and approves it, and then goes ahead and writes it into the Bitcoin blockchain afterwards, or Ethereum blockchain afterwards. So that's really really big news, guys. The other one news that I want to be able to share with you guys was the Chinese government finds 421 cryptocurrencies and warns of three particular red flags. So let's talk about those. The first one is there's a lot of pyramid schemes, right? The BitConnects of the world. Some of these lending platforms, not all lending platforms. Like for example, there's Debitum, which is you lend to businesses, right? There's like POA network where you're lending into, like you're basically trading your invoices. You're getting financing for your invoice so that you can get paid in advance and you can use the capital, and then you're selling these bitcoins, these payables to somebody else using cryptocurrencies, right? So those are type of lending that do work. But there's the BitConnects, there's a bunch of these like other scammy stuff that they're basically a pyramid scheme. When they promise you like high yield interest payments, like you're gonna receive 1% per day for the rest of your life, just put in the money here. That's total BS, guys. So don't fall for that. The second one is fake virtual currency that has no code. Like I told you guys in previous videos, if you want to check a project, go to GitHub, github.com. Look up the GitHub of a particular crypto project. You can see the commits, you can see the code there. So it's extremely transparent for you to be able to see. Imagine if you were able to, if Facebook was starting an investment, right? If they told you, like, oh, invest in Facebook back in the day, how do you know that they're even working on the Facebook website? You have no idea. But if they had a GitHub, you could see the code there. You could verify it. You could get a programmer, or if you have programming background, you could be able to see the commits that they do there and the progress that they're making into their project. So a lot of the very, very notable and very, very credible cryptocurrencies out there, they have all this data, right? The Cardanos, the EOSs, Tron is a little bit shaky on that part. But overall, a lot of these Bitcoins, specifically Ethereum, they're one of the most active GitHub communities out there. So that's another thing that you need to be able to see. You need to be able to see that they're really using the blockchain and how they're going to use that. So for me, when I'm investing in coins or ICOs and stuff like that, if they don't have an active GitHub on top of a community that doesn't exist, I'm not even going to bother on that project, because they're just it's just smokes and mirror, guys. The third one is fake virtual currencies cannot be traded on crypto exchanges like the Binances, Huobi, all these other ones. You can't really trade them. So they're trying to trade them over the counter, right? We're gonna airdrop them to you. Why? Are you not confident that you're going to get into a trade, into an exchange? If that's the case, then why am I going to get into this particular coin? I get invited to these guys all the time, right? I have this Telegram where, of course, I watch the community. I'm all the cryptocurrencies that I'm invested in, I'm actively, looking at, screening the community. How's it faring? What's the hype? What's sort of in the grapevines, right? And when you see some of these projects, these people just invite you to come join my project. Like, oh, invite this, and you'll have a chance to get a free, more bonuses and stuff like that. That's just BS, guys. There was this one in particular. I'm not gonna say the name, but I was talking to the founders and say, "Where's your white paper?" "Oh, we're working on it." Okay, well, I'm on your website right now, which looks like a template. Do you still have lorem ipsum? Lorem ipsum is like Latin, pig Latin, that we use when you develop a website when there's filler content, because you don't want to put like, temp text, sample text. It doesn't look like a paragraph, so you use like lorem ipsum because it looks more like a real paragraph, although it doesn't really mean anything. It's just like, it doesn't mean anything. So they had that. So I'm like, what's going on, guys? You're inviting us to this cryptocurrency to invest in your ICO, but you don't have any of this. When is this coming up? Oh, we're working on it. It's gonna be up relatively soon. We'll give an announcement. But go ahead and invite people to this Telegram channel, so that we can be able to give you extra bonuses. Like, screw you. Like, how many people are you trying to scam? And I was public there, and they didn't. They did not even ban me. Even I was saying a lot of negative things. I wasn't saying negative things, but I was just posting a lot of questions, like, what's this, what's that, what's your tokenomics? How many tokens are you gonna put out? I'm looking at your founders. They don't have any LinkedIn. They're like, the links are all like hashes. They're not even linked to the actual LinkedIn's. So like, oh, we're working on that. It's still a work in progress. Then why invite people to a community that doesn't exist? And a lot of these people just keep inviting, which is insane, but it does happen. So don't fall for any of that, guys, all right? So watch out for these three things when you're investing in a cryptocurrency, especially if you're trying to get into it, right? So let's go to Genesis Mining, right? This is pretty, pretty big cojones right here. Genesis Mining calls out the second richest man in the world for bashing Bitcoin and puts a billboard all around Omaha, Nebraska, right? That's pretty insane. They said here, like, they put out a blog that says, Warren, you said 2 weeks ago during your annual shareholder event that you were wrong about Google and Amazon because he didn't invest in them. You had a chance to invest and you didn't because you didn't fully understand them. Now you make public comments about Bitcoin, but how much time have you truly spent studying the industry, right? Genesis also goes to say that the world's the world's most famous investor will always be associated with being completely wrong about the most famous investment class and technology that we have seen in decades. So that was crazy. And I saw this is the ad right here. The billboard says, Warren, you said you were wrong about Google and Amazon. Maybe you're wrong about Bitcoin too. Wow. That's huge, guys. And Genesis Mining is, if I'm not mistaken, one of the largest cloud mining operations out there. They have like big server farms in Iceland and all over the world. I think China, Canada, and all these places. So that's really, really big, guys. So for them to call out Warren Buffett, that's actually really good. That's a great marketing move. I'm very proud of their marketing team. Me being a marketer myself, that's really, really great because they're definitely going to get on the news. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow on CNBC they're going to be talking about this, how Warren Buffett was called out. So we'll watch out for that. If it happens, I'm going to let you guys know. So one of the other news today, if you're a trader on Binance, right? So as you can see, whenever you deposit your cryptocurrencies, your ERC tokens, ERC20 tokens, basically your Ethereum based tokens, and also Ethereum itself. Whenever you deposit into Binance, you need 30 transactions before that fund can be available. So they've currently condensed that, and only now, as you can see, this is in the cryptocurrency Reddit forum, one of the subreddits. It says confirmation is only 10. This used to be 30, so that's really good because then you can get access to your coins a lot faster. So the last bit of news that I want to be share with you guys, we're 31 minutes right now, so we're making really, really good time. I hope I'm not going too fast for you guys, but I know that I'm trying to get this video as condensed as possible so that you have time to enjoy time with your family. The right grind is all about having balance, right? I don't want you to take too long watching these videos and end up not being able to spend time for whatever you love. So the last bit of news that I want to be able to share with you guys was Tom Lee explains why he thinks consensus failed to spark a Bitcoin rally, right? We were expecting a bullish rally during and after consensus, but it may still come, guys. It may still come, but right now it hasn't happened yet. So one of the things that he was saying was, consensus was overall a successful event, right? He had a tweet here. He said that the reason the rally did not happen was, it's very disappointing. He was looking for three particular things, right? He was looking for institutional custody and tools, buy-in by banks and investment managers. Both of those things have happened, and regulatory clarity. So, but we got progress on 1 and 2, but we did not on the last part. So he said that the lack of regulatory clarity is what's keeping the market from popping, from experiencing the bull rally that we all came to expect after this particular event. So this is a pretty good thing. Go to Fundstrat, follow them on Twitter, and relip on his takeaway here. He was really he had some really good insights. I really like Tom Lee because of the fact that there's a lot of he's very bullish on Bitcoin. So of course I'm biased about that, but on the other hand, he's well respected in the financial space. So that's really, really good. But he said despite the lack of Bitcoin price rally, Lee maintains that there were some positives. Speaking during the interview, he said, let me quote this: I think consensus was a huge success. It is a great conference to bring a lot of people together from around the world. The quality of the people that were there were amazing. Bitcoin doesn't have to go up every day to move from 8,000 to 25,000. The 10 best days account for all of the return of Bitcoin in a year. If you didn't own Bitcoin for 10 days each year, you lost 25% each year, right? So that's crazy, guys. I mean, we know that if for example, you just invested in Bitcoin only at those right times, you would be, and you sold it right before it dropped, and then you got in right before it rallied, and you rode up the wave. Imagine if that happened to you. Like you would be in like seventh heaven, right? But of course, that's how can you time that? That's not even the most like experienced, the best investors, the best traders in the world can really time the market that well, right? So, you know, it does happen, but we need to be able to stay steady, stay focused. You know, hodl whenever bitcoins drop or your cryptocurrencies drop. If you know the projects that you're investing in, everything will be cool because you're confident that they will push through on those projects. Look out, make sure, look at the calendars. Whenever they're going to hit those milestones, their mainnets are going to launch, upgrades that are being made to their system and all that stuff. Look at your calendars. Make sure that you are aware of all those states when they do happen so that you can be, well, be abreast of all the progress that your cryptocurrencies are doing, right? I invest in cryptocurrencies sometimes, on ICOs where there's no project yet, but you just have to analyze the opportunity correctly. The team. You look at the tokenomics. You look at the the overall need for that particular project. If it's just a copycat, there's so many copycat blockchain projects out there, or is a blockchain even needed? Right? So you look at all of those factors in ICOs, but you should also look into those factors if you're just going to trade a coin, if you're going to buy it from the exchanges, right? You need to understand the project relatively well so that you're confident in the project that you're investing in, all right? Well, that's pretty much it, guys, today. I really thank you so much for your time today. I'm gonna try to see if I can record a video tomorrow. I'm taking my kids to a field trip tomorrow to see Civil War reenactment because my son has a project in school for a state report on Virginia. So, I want him to experience that. I want my two little ones to experience that as well. So I'm gonna take them there tomorrow. We're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna keep watching because of course I'm still actively trading. Because I have my phone. I have my phone which has my account to be able to buy and sell cryptocurrencies at any time, and I already know when I need to buy and when I need to sell when it hits those alerts that come to me, right? So I'm gonna keep doing that. So if this is your first time, again, please, if you enjoyed the video, please do let me know in the comments below. If you didn't, sorry. Please let me know in the comments what you'd like me to improve. I'd love to hear your comments. Please subscribe to the channel, support me. I'm new in this. This is episode 30. I'm still new at this, and I'm going to continue to do this on a day-to-day basis, and I'm going to continue improving on the channel as much as I can. Hit the notification bell after you subscribe so you know whenever I release new videos, and please smash the likes. All right? Well, until I see you guys on the next video, I wish you and your family a success-filled day. I love you guys. Good night. Thank you.